Alright, I'm going to take apart the Nintendo Gamecube Wavebird Controller and clean off all the gunky parts, especially the D-pad, and blow out some parts with dust. So I have some alcohol cleaning pads that I use for my glasses, as well as some spray and canned air and a tri-wing screwdriver. I'm going to take out all 8 screws. This is the official wireless controller for the GameCube. Doesn't have any rumble. It has all the same inputs and it's pretty lag-free experience. So there are 8 of these tri-wing screws. I took the liberty of fast-forwarding this video and dubbing over it in order to ease the pain of how long this took me. But I felt it was necessary after owning this controller since 2004. My brother bought me this Wavebird controller when I was a kid, and I used it to play a ton of GameCube games, and it still works to this day. Even before I took it apart here to clean it, everything worked on it. I just wanted to get in there extra deep and make sure the thing will last maybe another 20 years, maybe even my son will use it. So, as you can see, I took off the back panel there. Just kind of pops right off after you get those screws off. And then I left the triggers alone. I don't mess with those in this video, except for the Z trigger and the dial for the channel on the wireless on the GameCube controller. Then I popped all the buttons out. Now I did not take off the analog sticks. I know some people like to do that in their videos. I left those on and I just spray air under there and I cleaned under there just a little bit. I cleaned under the analog sticks themselves, but I felt that the compressed air was enough to clean out that little area. You can see the PCB board. There's actually a little computer chip on the little board right there. Some kind of wireless hardware. I think that's what that cross PCB right there is the antenna, probably why the GameCube controller has such great wireless, but don't quote me on that. And then I just began wiping everything down. So the electronic contact pads were extremely dusty, so I wiped down the electronic contact pads for the D-pad, for the D-pad, and the electronic contact pads for the A, B, X, Y buttons, and any other connections like the LR and Z connections, and the actual connections for the pads themselves on the board. And I also sprayed out, as you can see, the analog sticks with compressed air. Just to make sure I don't get any kind of drift issues or dust in there when I'm playing Smash Bros. I know that's been a problem for a lot of Nintendo Switch owners recently, having analog drift. I almost forgot to take off that start button there, but I eventually did toward the end. This D-pad that I just showed on the screen, oh my goodness. I mean, I really had to work at that thing. So what I did is I took this cleaning solution, I sprayed a ton of it on it, but I didn't really get it. I had to do it more after this. So I put that, I wiped it down. I think I sprayed it even more. And the wipe I'm using as a cleaning wipe as well. There was just so much gunk on this thing. You would not believe. It was one of the main reasons I wanted to clean it. I mean, I can't even believe it still was as responsive as it was before cleaning it. So then I let that sit there for a while in that cleaning solution. Now I can't say, 100% you should do this to your own controller and you'll get the same results. I wasn't sure if when I put this thing back together if it was still going to work. So, I can't endorse my method as a guaranteed way to clean or fix your controller. I just thought I would show this video of what I did to set mine up. Hopefully I won't have to do anything like that ever again. But it was a pretty cool experience to take it apart and restore this classic controller. I mean, it took a long time to clean all of those buttons. There's a lot of gunk built up over the years on those things. But when it was all said and done, I felt like I had, you know, a much better product. I'd taken better care of my product, and the time that I put into it would help it last for, you know, a longer time, and maybe my son to be able to play with it, or somebody else. So here we go. Got the Z button down, all the face buttons, and the triggers themselves weren't really too bad. So I just sprayed them out with some air, and then I did wipe down the actual triggers themselves a little bit with some pads, but I didn't take them apart, which I have done before. I did clean the contact pads right there with a wipe. What am I figuring out right here? Let's see. Oh, then I started to double check any pieces that needed to be cleaned. Oh, I finished off the D-pad. So what I did there is I took my screwdriver and my wipes, and I actually